Hello everybody. In this video I want to help you with some of the basics of drawing a tree. Let's learn how to get past trees that look like stick figures to trees that look like real trees or look real interesting. And then once you get to a point in drawing where you know how to make a tree look realistic, then you can break the rules and put some real imagination and creativity into the trees. So the first thing that's really obvious is that trees grow from the ground up, right? But we need to show that, so we'll just have something here that indicates the ground. And then we know that the trees extend upward, and as they extend upward, they get smaller as they go up. At the base, they're thicker. We're just doing these light lines. Another thing that we know is that tree trunks, they are a cylinder. That's the closest shape that they represent. So in other words, they would be like this, round. They're not flat. They're round. So it helps if in your mind you can understand that the tree is round. Another thing that we know about the way that trees grow is as they branch off, the branches come from different locations on the tree trunk. So one branch might come from the front here, another one might come like from the edge, another one might come from the back where it's hidden behind the trunk. And if it came from the back where it's hidden behind the trunk, then you would see the edge of the trunk here, like that. If the branch came from the front of this trunk, then you would see the branch and you wouldn't see the trunk here. And as these branches go up and turn into smaller branches and smaller branches, this same principle applies just by having these edges in front of or behind this edge is in front of this edge, then it makes the tree look more realistic. Now sometimes trees have, the trunk goes away and comes back, or it might turn this way or that way. But for this initial lesson here, we'll just do something more basic. So now you have a trunk and you have a couple of branches, but you can understand that you can make these branches go any way that you want to. But generally speaking, these branches will continue to climb upward, all the branches, because they're looking for sunlight. Now I know there are some trees like weeping willows or other trees where the things hang down, the branches hang down the smaller branches. But for the most part, trees grow up and they just continue to reach upward. So you're free to do that. Now if you're a little bit afraid of committing to anything, then just do some light lines and just kind of make them go up. Just keep in mind they just want to climb up. And you can take the main trunk and it can split off like that. So the branches will get smaller. And we'll do the same thing. Here's this branch, and we'll have another branch that seems like it's coming from behind this branch. So you'll see that line. Same thing over here. Let's shoot a branch off this way. And this one, it looks like it's coming right off the top. But see that little line there? That one, it'll be like a branch that splits into 3. So the other branch, it'll be behind that, see? This branch on the left will be in front of this branch, so I'll see this edge, and this edge will just terminate into that. There. Now this doesn't look right here, right? So we'll just get rid of that. Okay, now down at the bottom, at the base, you have the roots of the tree. Sometimes the roots of the tree are underground and you can't see them. But I like to add more interest to the tree drawings by having the roots out, exposed a little bit. So the same thing, roots will go off of this trunk in different places all the way around. So I will have some of these roots look like they're coming off the front of the tree. This other root looks like it's around the edge of the tree. And then maybe that one's just right on the edge. And then maybe here's another one right here. Just goes in and terminates into the ground. Now as this root comes into the ground, because the tree is a cylinder, these shapes are cylinders, so where it goes into the ground, I could have it follow like a curve. And that looks more realistic. Okay, so you have the trunk going from large to small. You have the branches. As they reach up, they go from wider to narrower, large to small. You have the branches coming off of different parts of the cylinder. Some are in front, some are behind, some are, here's one that's just right on the edge. So there's nothing in front of it or behind it. It just branches off. This little line right here kind of goes like that, so then it makes this one look like it's behind this one. And so that's all you have to do to give the tree some interest. Now let's just, as an example, let's say this section over here, we continue on. As the tree gets smaller and smaller, and the branches get smaller and smaller, pretty soon you can indicate those far extremities at the end of the tree branches as just lines. And when they get to the point where they're just lines, you don't really have a way of indicating what's in front and what's in back, so you can just do what you want. Now, one way that you can make some of the lines appear to be farther away and some closer when they get down to just being lines is that you can do it by how dark the line is. So if I come off of here with a real dark line and then I go light, that makes that look like it's in the distance and this one's closer. See what would happen if I do one over here and I do it super light in the front and then it gets dark. See what that did? It kind of made it look like it came towards me. But anyway, you don't have to get too bogged down with those ideas, but maybe this one does kind of sag down a little bit. Imagine that, if this were a fruit tree, one thing about fruit trees is when they get loaded down with fruit, their branches sag down because they have so much weight with all the fruit. So you can do that. This branch, it's behind the trunk, and so these here, they wouldn't go in front here, they would go behind like that, and they would get lighter like that. There. Okay, let's set that aside for a minute. And let's just go over that. You have the ground. You have a tree that grows from larger to smaller. Branches that go from larger to smaller. And the tiny little branches can be indicated with just pencil lines. And as your branches come off the main trunk, they can be in front, or they can be behind, or they can be on the same plane. They're not in front and they're not behind. The tree trunk is a cylinder, so you can imagine that it's got curves to it, like that. And there it just grows. And remember, you can make the branches go wherever you want them to go. Now I'm working on another video where I'll show you how to start putting all the leaves in there. So when you do the leaves, and I'll show you on that video, you don't necessarily do all this. This is a tree like in the wintertime where it's lost all its leaves. But when you're going to do like a video of the tree as it in the spring and early summer as it blossoms all its leaves, then you'll have the branches disappearing up into the things that indicate leaves. But that will be my next video. This is one of my very first videos on YouTube, and I hope it helped you, and I hope to see you in my next video. Okay, have a great day.